All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to First Things First, your weekday daily, as it were, cybersecurity daily headlines. We go through the top news stories of the day. I give my commentary and thoughts and reflection on each of those. You guys all engage, which I absolutely love, and we have a good time. Set yourself up for an awesome day. If you're watching on replay, see that timer in the corner. When it gets to 0, that's when the action starts. It's a little pre-show chit chat going on for the first 3 minutes. But if you're here live, let's chit chat. Hope everything's going well for everybody. I hope everybody's feeling wonderful. Pamela, I saw you. BSEC, good to see you. Oh, special little shout out while we're still playing around. Happy birthday to one Kevin Apollinario, butcher's last name. Kev Tech IT support. This dude, he does so much for the community. Such a great person. And today is his birthday. So if you see him online or in person, wish this man a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Kevin. So how are we doing? What's up? Celeste, good to see you. Charlie, Bryant. Saw Zach Hill. I went back and rewatched yesterday's stream just to make sure the audio was good. And I saw Zach Hill giving me some chat about whether or not I slept in. Tuesdays and Thursdays are at 10 a.m. while spring semester's in, and 8 a.m. every other day. Oh my gosh. So happy, guys. It's Wednesday, February 2nd. I don't even know what's going on. I'm still beside myself about Tom Brady leaving. This might drive people away. I am a New England Patriots fan. I am from the Northeast originally. So that's still a lot to take in. Good to see you, Joab. Good to see you, David, Stella, Sun God. Arian, good to see you, man. Hopefully hot fire is a good thing. I don't know. I just learned the word sus the other day. I'm assuming hot fire is good. Like I spit hot fire, like Dylon and Chappelle's. Yeah, BSEC, I was teaching. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Oh, good morning, everybody. Hey, Carrie. I saw your taco jokes in chat too. Very funny yesterday. Turn on the do not disturb. Let's get this going. All right, Matthew, good to see you. Brian, again, always support. 222. All right, so let's get going with today's cybersecurity headlines. If you guys want to play, you know the routine. We go to cisoseries.com. David Spark and his group all do a wonderful job. This is where we get our top headlines and what we're going to be doing today. Let's get into it.
Series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Cyber attack disrupts German oil firm operations. On Tuesday, 2 German oil storage and logistics firms, Oil Tanking GmbH Group and Maveneft Group, indicated that they are investigating a cyber incident that occurred this past Saturday. Head of Germany's IT security agency, Arne Schonbaum, indicated that 233 German gas stations were affected by the incident, inhibiting their ability to change gas prices or accept credit card payment from customers, forcing some affected stations to accept cash payments only. The companies have hired computer forensic specialists to investigate the incident, which, according to industry officials, did not pose a threat to the country's overall fuel supplies.
All right, so I mean, whatever. This is interesting. For a second there, I thought this was the plot to the '90s movie Hackers with the oil tanker flipping over. It says cyber attack on oil firms. Basically, it sounds like attackers got into the. It sounds like the attackers got into the IT systems, the POS systems, the backhaul from the gas stations to the credit card processors and stuff like that. I mean, cyber attack on oil firms sounds a little bit more sensational than what it actually is. They can't change the oil prices. That sucks. And and they can only take cash. That's obviously a massive impact, right? But whether it's ransomware, whether it's whatever, they'll be back up and running in no time. Of course, I will say though, like, I don't know about you, but I barely ever have cash on me. So I would just go on down to the next gas station and fill up with my credit card. So unless they own all of the gas stations, and then you got a bigger problem. But whatever. This is kind of, as BSEC said, slow news story today. Spicy. I love it. Okay, so let's move on.
Tesla recalls full self-driving feature that lets cars roll through stop signs. Tesla is issuing an over-the-air update to recall a full self-driving beta feature that allowed cars to roll through stop signs at four-way intersections at speeds of up to 5.6 miles per hour. Tesla reportedly agreed to the recall after 2 meetings with National Highway Traffic Safety Administration officials. The issue affects nearly 54,000 vehicles, including 2016 through 2022 Model S and X EVs, 2017 through 2022 Model 3s, and 2020 through 2022 Model Ys. Tesla said it is not aware of any injuries or crashes caused by the flawed feature.
Okay, a couple things here. One, I've moved the chat window over so I can see chat a little bit better. Because I typically don't see chat as I'm running through this. I will say really quickly, I don't think that there's going to be a significant uptick in attacks this year on oil and gas outside of like anything excessive, like anything like Russia and Ukraine, that type of situation or something like that. Like oil and gas is ICSOT, and they are weak in general. And by the way, I'm sorry, right? Spoiler alert on hackers. Okay, I may or may not have given something away. Now back to this Tesla story. Okay, first of all, I love that it's illegal to roll through a stop sign technically, and they literally made it a feature. And then I don't know if there was blowback or someone got in an accident or what, but the fact that they baked in a feature that allows you to break the law, essentially. Of course, I guess they allow you to go speed, beyond posted speed limits. So whatever. But as people rely on self-driving cars to just, Jesus take the wheel kind of thing, like, yeah, it needs to follow the laws because people have expectations that when there's a stop sign, their car is going to stop. I would be freaking out if I don't know. I still haven't been in a self-driving car. My level of risk tolerance, like just even thinking about it's getting me gummed up here. So we'll see. I'd be more concerned about people making it so the car doesn't stop at all through the stop sign, right? Like attacking it from a security perspective, the way like Charlie Miller did with the Jeep Cherokee back a few years ago.
FBI recommends using burner phones at the Olympics. In the wake of a Citizen Lab report which found the official app for the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, dubbed My 2022, to have a number of significant security weaknesses, the FBI issued a warning on Tuesday urging athletes to use a burner phone while at the Olympic Games and to leave their personal devices at home. Use of the My 2022 app is mandated for all athletes, spectators, and members of the press. The FBI's warning also signaled the potential risk of cyber attacks by financially motivated or nation-state threat actors attempting to disrupt or block live broadcasts of the event, exfiltrate sensitive information from IT systems, or impact digital infrastructure supporting the Olympic Games.
Okay, a couple things here. This story we've touched on the last couple weeks through our first things first news stories. We talked about the reversing of the app and then the privacy concerns. My initial thought here is like, yeah, thank you, BSEC. Same thought here. Like FBI, the Olympics start today. Like, bro, if you're going to provide a warning, how about you provide it in a timely fashion? Like, where are you going to, like, are you going to go buy a burner phone from the bodega around the corner in Olympic Village? That, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, all due respect, I know you're busy, but like, you should have been issuing burner phones, like reporters, news stations, journalists, athletes. They all should have just been standard issue pallets of burner phones. Go right. Like, so I don't know if this is like a marketing thing by the FBI to be like, no, we said it too, but this is like wicket late. Like, I'm pretty sure the Olympics start today. I'm a huge, like, fun fact, I'm a huge Olympics curling fan. I've never curled. Love watching curling. I'm almost positive it starts today because I got reminders set on my phone. Whatever. Look forward to first things first in like mid-February when we talk about fallout from something that happened with this Olympic app. Lots of privacy concerns over there. Lots of privacy concerns.
100-day cybersecurity resilience plan for water and wastewater sector. Several federal agencies, including the EPA, CISA, and the National Security Council, have joined forces to develop a plan to better protect U.S. water infrastructure. The Water and Wastewater Sector Action Plan, which is part of the Biden administration's Industrial Control System Initiative, focuses on numerous high-impact activities which can be addressed within the next 100 days. The plan calls for establishing a task force of water sector leaders, implementing pilot projects to accelerate the adoption of incident monitoring, improving information sharing and data analysis, and providing technical support to water systems.
Huh.
And-
Interesting. I know a Matt Klein. I know Matt Klein who's a CISO. I wonder if it's the same Matt Klein. That's interesting. Okay, so again, another kind of ongoing news story that's a pretty popular story is what's going on with critical infrastructure and the Biden administration's effort to strengthen the resiliency. Guys, I don't want to I hate to sound like I'm glad that they're doing something, okay? But if you've been working in this space for a minute, like Obama issued a presidential directive on defining critical infrastructure and having sector leads actually strengthen and bolster. And if you look at something like the healthcare sector, they took it to heart and they've done great work. Now, I don't work in the water critical infrastructure space, right? Dams is a critical infrastructure. So maybe they do have something, but I haven't heard of it. So again, much like the FBI telling you to bring a burner phone to the Olympics, I feel like, this is a day late and maybe, maybe a nickel short, not a dollar short, but like, I'm glad that they're doing something, but but it's 2022, right? The original order was back in 16 or 13. So yeah, 13. So anyways, whatever. 100-day cyber resiliency plan. I know that the work that Biden's been doing and OMB and CISA has really been pushing for the zero trust architecture and MFA and having a plan and all these things. But it takes time, guys. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of planning. And I know that those are just vague concepts and terms, but I'm telling you, when you're trying to protect an entire federal government's critical infrastructure, and by the way, some of these plants, many of them are owned by private sector businesses, so that you've got that whole wrinkle wrapped into it. It becomes very, very difficult. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it, right? Is the business going to pay for it? Is the government going to pay for it? If the government pays for it, that means that we taxpayers are paying for it. What gets cut in the budget? It gets wicked complicated and wicked messy really quick. And ultimately, nothing really happens. So again, I'm glad that they're doing this. Detection is key. It'd be nice if they could just make like standard issue drop boxes that just do incident, or you can opt into a national incident response monitoring program. Whatever. And then you get into the whole thing of like, well, it's my data and it's your business's data and we're all pumping it into a federal government. What about oversight? Who's looking at the data? It's a whole thing. Okay. I'm going to hold on. That's where I'm at right now. Okay.
Now, a word from our. Find out more at Pantera.io. State-sponsored Iranian hackers targeting Turkish organizations. Researchers from Cisco Talis said that Muddy Water, an advanced persistent threat group with ties to Iran's Ministry of Intelligence and Security, has been targeting private organizations in Turkey alongside the country's government. Muddy Water, also known as Mercury or Static Kitten, has been active since 2017 and has been tied to past attacks against organizations in the US, Israel, Europe, and the Middle East. Muddy Water's latest campaign, which started back in November, comes in the form of phishing emails armed with malicious PDFs and Microsoft Office documents to trigger code which creates registry keys to gain persistence and uses living off the land binaries to hijack the machine. The researchers note that Muddy Waters' main objectives include conducting cyber espionage, stealing intellectual property, and deploying ransomware.
Okay. Couple things to mention, okay? So anytime it says state-sponsored, that usually means APT, which means advanced persistent threat, which means, APTs or advanced persistent threats are typically well-funded, very, very effective, good at their job, state-sponsored cyber attackers. They're not always great, right? Sometimes they just buy tools that are great and then, they send a phishing email or whatever. But anytime you hear that, it's interesting. So it looks like, right? Attribution's very difficult, meaning who did it. Attribution's difficult, but it looks like Iran is attacking Turkey in some type of espionage operation, both government and private sector. Okay, it's interesting. I don't know the geopolitics of what's going on in Western Asia, the Middle East, that section. They're attacking the Turkish Health and Interior Ministries. Maybe they're going after, a certain citizen's health records to see if they're sick or not. Maybe they're trying to get intellectual property for like COVID vaccines. I don't know. But I do want to share with this group because it took me a while to wrap my head around this, and I feel like it could benefit at least one person in chat. When we see something like muddy water, okay? When you see muddy water, that's what they're calling this APT. But then you'll also see, also known as mercury or static kitten, right? And I used to say, like, why do they have so many names? Like, it's so confusing. I don't get it. Okay, here's what you need to know. It's called mercury or static kitten because there's no standard, there's no body that gets to declare what these threat actor groups are. It's based on TTPs, which is basically like the signatures or techniques that these threat actors actually use that you discover after the attack actually happens. And then if it's like, I'm pretty sure like FireEye, which is a huge like EDR cyber kind of defense product company, they name all of their APTs like all of the Iranian ones have something to do with cats, like static kitten, fuzzy kitten, whatever. All of the Russian ones have to do with bears, right? So fuzzy bear, cozy bear, dancing bear, whatever. And then like I want to say like India has to do with snakes and China has to do with pandas. So but that's FireEye's naming convention because it's cute and it's easy to remember and they can make funny graphics with it, right? I don't know what mercury is, but let's just say, for example, it's Cisco Talos, right? They're another kind of security research group. So they might call it mercury, and then like China is polonium, and Russia is, titanium or whatever. I don't know if that's the naming convention, but what I'm trying to tell you is the reason these APTs have different names is because there's no standard body that does it, and different groups brand it the way that they want. It took me a little while to learn that. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay.
Data leak exposes IDs of airport security workers. A team of researchers recently discovered a misconfigured Amazon Web Services S3 bucket belonging to Sweden.
It's going to take me a second, people, on this one. Okay.
Security giant Securitas, which was left wide open without any authentication required to view the contents. The researchers found 3 terabytes of personally identifiable information belonging to employees of Securitas in at least 4 airports across Peru and Colombia, dating back to November 2018. After being notified by the researchers on October 28th, Securitas managed to secure the database on November 2nd.
No. Listen to me. I am so like configure your S3 buckets. Okay? Like it's like so known. 3 terabytes of PII leaked. Dude, there's tools. There's tools that will pull and look at your infrastructure and see if you have buckets that are open to the internet. Like this shouldn't happen. This is ridiculous. They probably run RDP facing the internet too, I bet, without MFA or anything like that. Probably just log right in. Like Amazon S3 buckets are regularly in the news for data leaks. They got notified that it was open to the internet post breach at this point, obviously. And then it still took them a few days or a week or whatever to get it secured. Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm not an Amazon AWS architect, and maybe I don't understand how difficult it is, but I know that there's tools that will tell you whether or not your buckets are open. I've done AWS labs. I know that, like, just on the GUI front end, you can look at your S3 buckets and see which ones are public. When you have 3 terabytes of data, that's not an accidental, oh, I pushed it here and I forgot about it. Like, that was part of a working database, part of a working system that was probably ingesting data and pushing it somewhere as well. It wasn't just like a data lake sitting there. This is ridiculous.
Telco fined 9 million euros for hiding cyber attack impact. Greece's largest technology company, OTE Group, has been fined 9.1 million euros or $10.2 million US by the Greek Data Protection Authority for leaking 48 gigabytes of sensitive customer data back in a 2020 cyber attack that stemmed from a hacker social engineering one of its employees through LinkedIn. The agency said that the Greek telecom infringed at least 8 articles of the GDPR, including violating its duty to inform affected customers of the true impact of the incident. The probe by the Data Protection Agency also found the OTE Group's customer data was not properly anonymized and that established data retention periods were not adhered to.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, good on the government of Greece to, well, I guess, hold on. I'd really have to think about this one, right? Like, does the federal government have the right to, I mean, obviously they have legislation in place in Greece to do this, but to fine a private sector business for hiding a cybersecurity impact? Right now in the United States, if you're a private entity outside of healthcare, with, criteria, and you suffer a breach, you don't have to tell anyone, right? You don't have to report it to anyone. There's actually legislation right now in the federal government that's trying to push for people to report in, at least on a voluntary basis, so they can get help and we can get better metrics on how bad attacks are actually happening and how frequently, and TTPs and stuff like that. But this is what they're doing in Greece. These guys hit it. They probably to not erode customer faith and reputational damage. But they did. Now, what's really interesting is the attack says that an engineer at the telco was socially engineered on LinkedIn, and somehow I don't know what they gave up, because then it says the attacker brute forced into that person's account and then pulled 46 gigs of data. Okay, you know what brute forcing is? That's like guessing passwords or guessing pins and stuff like that. I suspect if you have multi-factor authentication, which they did not, obviously, this breach wouldn't have happened. So the moral of the story is multi-factor authentication. It's like, it's not even a question anymore. It's like saying, should we put passwords on accounts, or should we just allow anyone to put in a username and walk right in? No, like, that's insane. You would never do that. Well, guess what? In 2022, multi-factor authentication has to be standard. It has to be standard. It's too important to control. $9 million fine on top. So this is a $9 million fine on top of whatever the impact was of them actually being compromised and having that 46 gigs of data sucked out. Multi-factor, man. Yeah, Alex, good point. Does $10 million really affect a giant telco? Probably not. Probably not. $9 million sounds a lot to an individual, but if this company makes like $50 billion a year, what's $9 million? That's like petty cash, right? But whatever. It is something.
Public exploit released for Windows 10 bug. After reports of Microsoft's January patch Tuesday breaking servers, some organizations may have opted to hold back on deploying the security fixes. However, one of the associated vulnerabilities now has a proof of concept exploit available in the wild. The exploit for the privilege escalation bug in Windows 10, tagged as CVE-2022-21882, was released by Gil Deba, founder and CEO of Privacy Piano, who tweeted that he initially decided not to report the bug 2 years ago, but apparently had a change of heart after finding it difficult to get paid on other bug bounties through the Microsoft program. And that doesn't...
That's interesting. So here, okay, so the story itself, right, for the general audience is that you really should find out which, this patch that Microsoft rolled out in January had some issues. It affected VMware, I think, somehow. Like you'd get stuck in a boot loop. We covered it in First Things First. This now there's a public exploit for one of the bugs, vulnerabilities that the patch fixed. So the key takeaway for practitioners is make sure that your Windows 10 patches are deployed. Now, for us, the cool cybersecurity people, what's really interesting in this story for me is that this individual found this bug 2 years ago and tried to make it known or responsibly disclose it to Microsoft. And because Microsoft goofed around and made the bug bounty incredibly difficult, this researcher said, F it, threw his hands up and said, forget it. So this bug has been out there for at least 2 years and could have been remedied if Microsoft didn't futz around, okay? I'm not a bug bounty person. I've signed up for HackerOne. I've dabbled, right? I don't claim to be a pen tester or anything like that. If there's bug bounty people in chat, let me know. I have been kind of there's a lot of content creators on YouTube that are offensive security people, and I've kind of started running in Discord circles with them, and I see what they're saying and stuff like that. And bug bounties is a really complicated thing. It seems simple that a business can set up and researchers can come in and they collaborate and stuff like that. But it gets really, really complicated very, very quickly as to is this a real bug or is this not a real bug? Has it been found or has it not been found? Can it be exploited or can it not? There's so much to it. And some businesses will just pay out instantly. Thank you so much, because they're really getting massive value for their investment, and which is great. But it's just annoying that Microsoft, which is a behemoth, would goof around and not just pay this person a bug bounty, right? Whatever. I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but it seems like a perfect opportunity for Microsoft to leverage the security community to improve their products, increase their brand reputation. People like myself and others in the community have been speaking great things about Microsoft and what their security tools look like and how they've matured significantly in the last 5 years. And then you get a story like this and you're like, God, guys, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's just whatever. Okay.
Today's cybersecurity.
Okay, so that's going to do it for today's cybersecurity headlines. I do want to remind everybody, if you fancy yourself some GRC, come join us tomorrow, Thursday, February 3rd at 4:30 p.m. We will be talking to a good friend of mine, an awesome information security professional, Erica McDuffie. She's a director over GRC. She's been working in the space for a long time. And not only is she awesome, but she is going to talk to us about how you can dominate the GRC space. I'm so excited to bring her on and have just an excellent, wonderful conversation. Now, little surprise for you guys who are here live with me, all right? Little surprise. On sometime next week, okay, guys? Sometime next week, I will be doing a Renegade broadcast. What is a Renegade broadcast, you might be asking? A Renegade broadcast has very little, if any, promotion. Like the way I just told you about Erica's visit tomorrow, that's promotion. This is not going to be promoted, but me and a very special co-host, many of you may know this co-host, great member of the community, me and a special co-host will be ripping through the SANS 20 coolest careers in cyber. It's going to be high hitting, right? So number one, what's a threat hunter? What are the pros? What are the cons? Boom. Number two, what's a red teamer? What are the pros? What are the cons? Boom. Number three, we're going to rip through all 20 of these jobs and we're going to let you know what we think about it. I think I'll probably take the odd ones and the co-host will take the even ones. I don't know, but I'm not telling you when it's going to happen. I'll probably tell y'all within 24 hours of it dropping, but it'll be a live stream and it will be fascinating. Believe me, okay? All right, so this has been Simply Cyber. I am your host, Gerald Auger. If you want to share First Things First with your community on social media, all you have to do is drop that link, simplycyber.io/FTF, on your socials, and it will take them right to the upcoming live streams for First Things First. Tomorrow will be Thursday, February 3rd, because I teach in the morning. It will be 10 a.m. broadcast, right? So come join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. And if you can't make the 10 a.m., catch it on replay. And then catch the live stream Thursday at 4:30 with Erica. You guys are the absolute best. You make my morning. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Cheers, everybody.